I'm on team whatever the hobbits are on. I'm on the opposite. I'm on the Smeagol side.
Smeagol?
Yes, I really think that justice for Smeagol. I think that character was wrong. I think everybody made it. They gaslit a poor little baby.
Welcome to the Art of Costume Blogcast. I'm Elizabeth Joy Glass.
And I'm the editor of Runway, Spencer Williams. What's up, Elizabeth?
You wish you were the editor of Runway, Spencer.
I wasn't going to say
wrong publication.
Coffee runner? I don't know. I was trying to come up with something earlier.
How about the creative director of the Art of Costume?
Yeah, but that's too on the nose. It has to be on theme.
Let's just not promote the actual publication we both run.
Speaking of being off theme, guess what movie I saw last night?
What did you watch?
I went and saw The Minions.
Why? Why did you do that?
I don't know. It's because I was looking up all those TikTok trends and I told the wrong people. Next thing you know, I'm at the Minions. And I did fall asleep for the last 45 minutes because I'm getting old.
Of course you did. Of course you did. That is something you watch when it comes on streaming.
I know.
So you can be comfy in your home.
Not to mention Thor is out right now, which is really embarrassing.
Mostly why I'm disappointed in you right now. It's because you didn't go see Thor.
Well, Elizabeth, we have a big episode today.
We do. We have a very big episode. One of my favorite movies. And it's just, we needed a little bit of help, Spencer. So who do we have with us today?
I am so excited to introduce two of my most favorite people. They are the wonderful podcasters of Fishnet Flix Pod. And they invited me for an episode a couple months ago, and it was the most fun I've ever had. I'd love to welcome Lodi and Blaire Bercy.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you.
I don't know how much help we're going to be with this one because this is like, it's kryptonite for fashion podcast, like costume design.
Yeah,
I know. We're going to drag you guys to hell with this one.
We were scared when we were like, the Devil Wears Prada. Where do we even begin with this one?
Yeah. Because it's just costume after costume.
Mm-hmm. We need to have you both on next time. We need to have, because we have fun. We have a good time over there at Netflix. And so you guys both need to come on and we need to find something good. I feel like
the most fun doing Mars Attacks. Did you just say Twilight? Wait. Did you just say Twilight?
Yeah. I think that would be the one that gets me. If I have to watch it, I have to watch it.
Oh, my God.
I think you guys should come on and do Twilight. The first one.
There we go.
Marie, you wrote that down, right?
Twilight.
Oh yeah. Listen, I'm making the contract so we can sign it in blood.
Perfect.
I'm just really excited to have you both. I love you both so much, and I had the most fun talking about Mars Attacks, which is so crazy. I didn't want to make Elizabeth have to watch Mars Attacks. She would not have enjoyed it.
Well, I told you about my childhood trauma with that movie, didn't I?
No.
Here's where we derail. Do tell, Elizabeth. Well, now you got
it. For some reason, my parents thought, I was probably like 3 years old. My parents thought this was an appropriate family film. So I have a vivid memory of like hiding behind our couch. And my entire family found this very funny, that I was terrified of this movie. And I could not watch it in its entirety till I was in high school.
Wow.
My family would put it on and I would be like, bye, I gotta go.
Wow. So there was no E.T. So.
No.
I thought it was a family film, but it wasn't until a couple months ago I realized it's really not. So
no.
Well, that's like Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Like Large Marge used to like.
Oh yeah.
Scare me to the point of like I would cover my hands during that scene or like try to. So I get it. The hyper realistic, weird, scary things. I get it.
It's like not for a toddler.
It's funny you mentioned Pee-wee's Big Adventure because that's the other film I've been telling Elizabeth I want to watch, but I think she's okay with that one.
It'll be good.
Yeah, I've never seen that one, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, that's a classique. Oh,
you're safe. Ish. Yeah. Large Marge will get you. That's scary.
I am warned.
All right. Well, we have a lot of costumes to get through, so let's get into it. I'll start us off with a little summary, which is like a really basic summary. The Devil Wears Prada, a smart but sensible new graduate, lands a job as an assistant to Miranda Priestley, the demanding editor-in-chief of a high-fashion magazine. That's it.
That's not. I feel like that was the job interview. Like when Andy applied, that's what it said. And then she got there and they were like, that's not it.
Yeah. That is IMDb's version of The Devil Wears Prada.
And if you haven't seen The Devil Wears Prada, go fix your mistake and go watch it. Because if you haven't seen this, don't know what you're doing here.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
Now that you've seen that, let's all go behind the wardrobe because we got director David Frankel, who he apparently directed some of the Sex and the City episodes, which I'm like, okay, that makes sense how you got so in tune with this whole world. But then we also have fashion legend and costume designer Patricia Field.
Our first Patricia Field.
Yes.
This is awesome.
And you'll know her from many seasons of Sex and the City. Ugly Betty. The first two Sex and the City movies. Another personal favorite of mine, Confessions of a Shopaholic. And The Girl on the Train, which I feel like is a very strange movie for her to have done the costumes, but...
Isn't that okay. Is that Emily Blunt too?
Yeah, that's like that murder mystery movie.
Oh. New York and Emily Blunt. I guess it.
Yeah.
I guess
it's so not.
It's dark.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about.
It's an interesting movie.
I thought I was getting into Gone Girl because I don't know why that movie is so funny and ridiculous to me, it wasn't. This one was sad. Weird.
Yeah. The whole time I was like, Emily Blunt, you're not okay.
Yeah, not okay.
This was not a ringing endorsement of The Girl on the Train.
No. If you like a murder mystery, go for it. If not...
I feel like the title's misleading. Girl on the Train makes it sound like the Orient Express, Murder on the Orient Express. It's not. It's literally girl with trauma and it's alcoholism. It's not. It's not Girl on the Train.
I don't know why I laughed at alcoholism. That was a mistake.
I don't know how we got into breaking it. I thought it was going to be Gone Girl, and it wasn't.
Yeah, I had the same feeling about it, and then you watch it and you're like, oh, absolutely not.
But I think Justin Theroux's in it, which kind of makes up for. Is he?
I don't know.
Maybe. I don't remember. I just remember being very concerned for Emily Blunt the entire time.
Yes.
But getting back to The Devil Wears Prada, Patricia Field said to Harper's Bazaar about the experience, I'm very happily surprised. I never thought that this would become a classic on its own. I never really thought about it going in. I'm going to make this unforgettable movie. I just go in, do my job, and be positive, have fun with it. If I'm not enjoying it, it doesn't happen.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, Patricia Field.
What a weird flow.
I was like...
I think reading it in her voice, because I've had random Patricia Field New York run-ins, and she's the nicest, most real, down-to-earth person. She is in these streets picking up on current fashion. And she has this gravelly little voice. So it's if I'm not enjoying it, it doesn't have that's it has more to it.
That was uncanny.
I love that.
I just got chills.
Love that. But that's probably what makes all of these films so cool. And when David Frankel first approached her for the film, she was like, oh, okay, well, now I have to take you to Paris Fashion Week. So she was like, come into this world, see what it's all about. I'll get some costume inspiration. You'll get movie inspiration and it'll be great.
That's
and
so
it
fun.
really, right? I'm like, I want to go to Paris Fashion Week with her. How do we make that happen? But one of the things that really made The Devil Wears Prada successful was the fact that it hinged on Patricia and David's ability to incorporate fashion and industry culture in a way that was believable, fun, and respectful. Because they do make fun of the sillier elements, but it's a very real part of all of our lives, whether or not you agree with that statement, it is. However, to make this happen, the film had a budget of only $35 million. So Patricia had to rely on her industry and personal connections to create the film's now iconic wardrobe. And the film's 2 stars really opened a lot of doors for her. She was like, on top of all of my personal connections, having Anne Hathaway and why do I only want to call her Miranda Presley? Oh my gosh. Meryl Streep. Oh my gosh. I just had my brain went blank. Okay.
Patricia feels like I got a secret weapon. Her name's Meryl Streep.
She said they basically opened the rest of the doors for her. And I was like, oh, okay.
And I believe that because Meryl Streep is actually friends, after decades in the business, she's friends with Ralph Lauren and she has actual fashion friends, even though we don't consider her front row fashion chic. They call her up and she calls them, so I believe that. I thoroughly believe that.
Yeah. Exactly. And I just can't wait to jump into this with all of you.
Let's take a little break, and when we come back, we're going to jump into Andy's sad opening wardrobe.
Hello, Blogcast listeners. It's Elizabeth Joy Glass, co-host and producer of the Art of Costume Blogcast. Thank you so much for listening. We appreciate all your support. If you wanted to continue your support, you can now become one of our costume mavens when you become our patron at patreon.com/theartofcostume. There we post unheard bloopers, highlights, and you can even catch our monthly bonus episodes for patrons only. Make sure to check out the description for a link to our Patreon.
All right, everyone. Are you ready to go on a job interview with Andy?
Oh, Andy.
A little bit.
So the film starts off, it's super iconic. You see everyone getting all dressed up. Can't relate. I never get this dressed up for work ever. But Andy shows up to runway and I think she looks cute. I see her trying, and we're introduced to, a few of our favorite characters. We have Emily, played by Emily Blunt. We have Andy, played by Anne Hathaway, and Nigel, played by Stanley Tucci, the Bermuda Triangle of iconic people. I don't know where I'm going with this.
No, I love this opening scene because Andy is just very standard early 2000s. Patricia Field was going for a Old Navy Gap look, and I'm like, you nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just love Emily Blunt's character so much. Emily. Her fashion is just so dramatic with this big black shoulder in that first opening scene. She's giving a lot, and I love it.
I remember seeing this in her hair. Being that color meant money.
Yeah.
Nobody had the money to get their hair that good red, Spice Girl red.
Yeah.
That's a good, you can see the blonde underneath it. And then the dark nails, that's it's adult workplace goals.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love, she does a behind the scenes interview in this costume, and she calls it her Star Trek coat because she's like, Emily's so on the edge of fashion, she's falling off. And I'm like, yeah, that is Emily.
That's a great description. And then we have our hero, Stanley Tucci. He's he's just Stanley Tucci. I don't know. I just love him so much. He just looks so chic all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I just
he's awesome.
I want him to hug me.
Right? And he's the only character that actually looks comfy in his high fashion, which I appreciate.
The question I have is, were the glasses which came first? The little circle glasses on Stanley Tucci, or Stanley Tucci brought those glasses to set? Which one came first? I don't remember Stanley Tucci without those glasses, and now I feel like that's...
Oh my gosh, that's such a good point. He wears these in like Captain America, kind of.
It's like his thing.
Did he wear them in burlesque too?
It's a great question.
These are real questions.
Yeah.
These are real questions because they look good on him. But I feel like I never see him wear glasses like in interviews or anything.
I feel like I only see him in glasses. I think it's like I've just absorbed it.
Right. I think so too.
Why doesn't he have a glasses line? Stanley Tucci, hit up Warby Parker. Get a glasses.
He wears glasses in that CNN documentary.
Oh, his traveling Europe?
Searching for Italy.
I need to watch that.
Oh, it wrecked my life. I now only eat pasta on Sundays. I can't stop watching him and his life. I'm
looking up Stanley Tucci burlesque. Oh, he wears glasses on that too.
I've never not seen him in glasses. They're a little less round.
Yeah.
So I think in this movie, they're definitely like editorial round, but I don't know what Stanley Tucci looks like without glasses. So hot.
I'm like trying to think about this and I just don't know the answer.
Well, we have to hurry because Miranda Priestley's coming up into the office.
I'm snapping.
Yeah.
Snapping. Everyone move it along.
Or as Nigel says, gird your loins.
Talk about the best entrance in film history. The black fur coat, the dark purple dress. Like, she looks so flawless in this look.
It's so good. I still get chills when I see this scene. It's so ridiculous. And I just watched it again this morning. It just remains iconic.
She looks like a mature glass of wine. Like, like an expensive glass of wine is coming. So like, don't drip, don't drop, have some class.
Don't put in a solo cup.
Don't put in a solo cup. This is like in crystal and it needs to breathe. So move it along. There you go.
And part of her kind of like the perfect piece to all of her iconic looks in this is her hair. And this was partially Meryl Streep's and her hairdresser's idea was to go all white. And the studio was like, they were not going for it at first. They were like, no, that'll make her look old. But Meryl Streep, Patricia Field, they were like, no, just trust us. And it's like, there is no Miranda Presley without that white hair now.
It's really cool. Actually, I saw your notes about it and I didn't even think about it. It does like really give like a blank slate of color for them to like really play with the costumes on her, all because of that white hair. It's so good.
Yeah.
I'd also say that this movie did for workplace fashion and this look what they were trying to say that this magazine would do. Like, this shaped like that all white, like shockingly white hair in a very kind of like chic way. I don't think we really saw it the same way that we do now. It's less about the cut and more about the fact that it's like, because her hair length kind of changes throughout the film, but it still looks so good.
Yeah, but that swoop too is a big part of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the perfect little like long bob she has going on.
Oh, it's such a good look.
Perfect with everything, not so perfect. Andy's kind of trash friends.
Well, okay, so Doug and Lily are not terrible. They're like, okay. Lily, I like her, and then she does like that weird like phone prank thing, and I'm like, come on, girl. Right. But otherwise, like Lily and Doug are fine. It's Nate who's really the problem.
Nate is definitely the biggest problem. But then Lily just assumes Andy is cheating on Nate at her gallery show, and I'm like,
I mean,
you say you've been friends for like 10 years. How are you just assuming and not being like, hey, what's going on?
That art gallery like embrace did give a different vibe, though. It would have stood out to me, too.
I would have gone over and been like, hey, what's happening? Like, not like, oh my gosh, you're not my friend anymore. You would never act like this. Who are you? And let's
put it on him. Be like, yo, that dude is pushing up on my friend. Like, put it on the dude.
Yeah.
I love Tracy Toms, though. She's just so great.
She is amazing.
Nate, there's been a lot of like discourse about Nate over the years. A lot of people find him to be the villain. Some people don't. I don't know. I just I don't want to dig too into him, but I can't stand him.
The only thing he's good for is a grilled cheese. That's about the only time that I was interested.
Yeah.
That's a nice grilled cheese, though.
Yeah.
He constantly disparages her job.
Right.
And then he's willing to make a long distance relationship work at the end of the movie, but not a relationship work where she's just at work all the time and they live in the same apartment. Like, what's that?
This last rewatch, what got me was that every time he was like ever positive toward her, though, was when she was showing off like a new like sexy garment, though. Makes me so bad.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is why he shouldn't be a part of this film.
Delete.
Elizabeth said next and deleted the slide.
Done with him. On to much better characters like Giselle. I always forget she's in this movie.
Yeah.
And then she's just like perfectly placed throughout it. And I'm like, oh, hey.
It's a good cameo.
Yeah, it was a really, really great nod to the industry. I think one of my favorite looks of the entire film is the cerulean blue sweater. I don't know. It's like, it's so funny to me.
It is. I mean, that's like one of the major costume story points when Miranda Priestley dives into her monologue. I've heard this. I did like acting lessons when I was young, and literally every girl who wanted to be an actor in the 2000s learned this monologue.
Yeah, it's like this and that song from Rent. Everyone does this and that song from Rent.
Yes.
Hamilton. Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. And it had just been so long since I actually heard it out of Meryl Streep's mouth. I was like, no wonder everybody knows this, because it perfectly encapsulates like what the fashion industry actually does.
Yeah,
it's brilliant.
Like, the way she describes it is kind of like, you know, you and I went to FITM, and I feel like this was like part of the curriculum. It was like this breaking down into like 10 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
Elizabeth, I would pay money to hear you reenact this whole scene, though.
I have Venmo.
But Miranda's like gold costume for that whole like fitting, or not fitting, they're like preparing for like a shoot. That gold look Miranda's wearing is really, really cool. Mm-hmm. She's just like dripping in gold.
Yep. It's like strong because they're like metallic, huge like sequins or whatever. And it looks strong, but it also looks international. It doesn't look like everything else kind of leans and skews towards Parisian or American. This definitely feels like, I don't know, Moroccan. It's just something else, or an African designer. It just feels, well, that's the same thing. Geography is not my strong point, but it feels like internationally chic.
Right.
Yeah. No, it definitely like lends like a lot of texture and just like a different altogether feel from anything else in the room. And I feel like that's what Patricia Field does with Miranda, is she always gives her a different feel from everybody else in the room.
Mm-hmm. Turns the temperature up.
A fair point to Andy, though. I am like zooming in on the belts right now. I do get what she's saying. The color blue that is being used is pretty close.
Yeah. But the point is, the buckles are different, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this scene because I feel like this is where they try to dress down Anne Hathaway the most. And I'm like, you can't, why are you dressing her down? Like, this looks so silly. She's so beautiful. It's like, until she gets a makeover, I'm like, I can't really believe Andy is this fashion.
Anne Hathaway's like, she's like the makeover queen. Didn't she do the same thing? Oh my gosh, now it's blanking on me.
Princess Diaries.
Yeah, there you go. I've never seen a Princess Diaries.
What?
I know. Sorry.
Well, Spencer, that just adds to the movies I need to make you watch.
You're right.
She kind of is, though. She kind of is. But I don't know if I can say it's my favorite scene, but one of my favorite scenes, Miranda Priestley coming in every day and throwing another fur coat down on Andy's desk, is brilliant. And Patricia Field actually had to reach out to a friend of hers in New York who was a furrier and had a showroom. And she was like, she was very generous with her, basically let her have whatever she wanted. And that's how they got this like beautiful scene. I remember I saw a interview with Patricia Field years ago, and she was like, yeah, David just kept adding all of these like clothing montages, and I kept telling him it was more money and more money. Yeah. And so she was just like, guess I have to go borrow it from somebody.
She said, we just need a bunch of coats to just throw out a desk.
Meryl's going to throw coats and bags.
Yeah.
Good
bags. Different bag every day.
Oh, yeah.
It's a dream.
Right. I'm just like, how does she get ready in the morning? Like, she has too many options. I have like 100th of the options she has, and it's like, I still can't decide what to wear.
In my imagination, Miranda has a rack that's been edited by like the people there. Do you know, like she's like a season or two ahead, and she doesn't wake up and like pick what she wears. She has like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like a rack, and then they remove it from her site. And then they bring in a new rack.
Ooh,
that's my imagination.
That's
like very like
I think
Princess
that's right.
Diana, like royals, like having clothes chosen for you.
Yes.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that.
I like that.
I feel like your imagination is pretty spot on, actually, Blaire.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. That's absolutely what happens. Also, what happens is Andy is like, gotta fit in now, gotta fit in, or this is never gonna work. And
thank goodness.
Right? Otherwise, this movie would have been much less entertaining. But Patricia Field said as soon as she met Anne Hathaway, she was like Chanel girl.
Yeah.
All the way.
Okay.
She was a Chanel girl. And Patricia Field said to Entertainment Weekly, I have a relationship with Chanel, and when I called them, they were very happy to work with me on this movie because they wanted to see Chanel on a young girl to give it another point of view, making Chanel not just middle-aged women in suits, but youthful and funky, which I'm like, that's very true. At that point, Chanel was kind of boring.
Mm-hmm. It was like the quilted bag was maybe the most like streamlined into pop culture. Other than that, like this is the outfit we're looking at is Andy with the blazer, like the tweed blazer. That's cruise line. So if you think about it, Chanel marketed this for the cruise wear, and that's a specific sect. Andy's rocking it as like winter gear, and it looks really cute. I also would like to point out that nowadays we understand dressing for your job. Back in the 2000s, it was like everyone should just be comfortable and like wear. And at watching it now as an adult, I'm like, girl, you were going to work at a magazine and you thought that was like okay to like just stroll. Like, I get that that's the kind of the point. Like, she doesn't care about like fashion. She cares about the editorial portions of it. But come on, Miss Ma'am. But then she pops up in this outfit. And I mean, even her hair is expensive, just like Emily's hair. Like, that's an expensive look. She jumped, her price went up with this one, and the bag is adorable.
To the point, I think my favorite line of the entire film, which is actually like a non-speaking line, is when she says like, Andy, one more thing, and Miranda looks down at Andy's, her flats. It's the best line of the entire film. Just like looks down and up and says, thank you, or like, that's all. Yeah. Like, it's so good.
So many memes came from this movie. And they like never get old.
That we still use to this day, honestly.
Yeah.
So Andy walks in that Chanel outfit with the Chanel boots, and it's breathtaking every single
Material
time.
Girl. This is it.
Yes. Absolutely. I love the look on Emily's face. Just like, wait, what?
And Giselle says, you look good. And Emily gets all pissed. But like, she does. What can you do?
She does look good. Oh, but it just gets more interesting from here. Spencer, I think we need a little break so we can catch up.
102 montages coming up, so we gotta get prepped and ready to go.
This is the beginning, actually. This is where it starts.
Yes.
What's up, costume nerds? This is Spencer, co-host and producer of the Art of Costume Blogcast. I love the simple things in life. Free parking, air conditioning, and a nice comfortable hoodie. If you feel the same way, then I'm here to let you know that if you wanted to support our show, you can head over to theartofcostume.com/podstore. There you can buy awesome Blogcast merch through TeePublic, such as t-shirts, hoodies, coffee mugs, and stickers. We even have a baby onesie for all those baby costume designers out there. To get your merch, head over to theartofcostume.com/podstore. Thank you for all your support. All right, are you all ready for another montage?
Yeah.
This is probably the best montage, honestly. It's the best montage of all montages.
I do love this montage as well because it just shows her getting like cooler and cooler and cooler, like paying more and more attention to fashion, just like over the weeks. It's so much fun.
Oh no, it just like gives me such, because we're here in LA and we talk about this, but we can never wear these nice coats during the fall.
Yes.
So yeah, it gives me like fall East Coast energy.
Doesn't it make you jealous? Like every time?
Envy.
Yes,
It's gorgeous. And I think the thing about this that is more than just like, look at all these looks, look at all these pieces, is that she puts together looks. So they all work towards a theme, which I appreciate, that it's not just like, and no shade to like Emily's character, but Emily has the same note kind of over and over.
Yeah.
Emily doesn't look like she's showing up in costume. Andy is trying to assimilate. So all of her costumes are a full theme, from like a retro Jackie O vibe to like, she looks like she's invoking like Giselle energy for some of these. And so
J-Lo too.
Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good, and I appreciate from head to toe, she nails the thematic versus what a real person would do, which is like one of these coats, same probably pairs of shoes and bag, and, maybe changing underneath.
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way, that like Andy really is showing up to work in costume, because this is a character she's trying to play. She doesn't believe like any of this is really her until it becomes her. And then that's when she like really starts to fall apart toward the end of the film. But oh my gosh, I never just blew my mind, Blaire.
Yeah, that's my goal in life. Every day is a costume. That would be a dream to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I love like the color. Patricia really wanted her to pop in these scenes because she's like, it's New York. It's gray. It's like winter. Like it's, rainy. But she was like, let's make her pop, which is why she always has some sort of like bright colored item, whether it's like the green jacket or like the burnt orange hat, the red gloves, the stunning. I want this stunning white coat. Like she pops every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think my favorite is definitely the green with the cheetah print and the white. Those looks are so strong.
I love the green one. I think that was a vintage coat.
Yeah, I would believe that. Yeah.
And she paired it with like a gold shoe. Like they're all interesting, like a satin glove, and I don't know what kind of purse it is. Armadillo for the white one?
Probably.
It's something. Like all of these are so good. And we know that Andy is pulling stuff from like work.
Yeah.
But it's how she's putting it together, because we know she has no help. Well, maybe Stanley Tucci a little bit, but not really.
Stanley Tucci. I think she goes to him every day after work and is like, okay, here's what do I wear tomorrow?
Oh my God. Personal stylist. Also this scene, throughout the movie, I was getting some pretty hardcore sidekick nostalgia for anyone who had a sidekick back in the day. I had a pink Juicy Couture sidekick, so it made me miss it.
Mine is literally on the shelf behind me.
Oh, that's right.
Literally, like my old sidekick.
Jealous.
Yeah. One day, Drake or some rapper will make it cool again, and T-Mobile will be like, "Guys, we're bringing it back," and I'll be first in line.
They brought back the razor, so why not the sidekick? Hello.
Yeah.
Get this iPhone away from me. I want my sidekick.
I'm kind of jealous. I never had a sidekick. I had a razor, but that's not the same.
Me either.
It's a
little envious.
Such a I'll break it out later. It's such a there's like a flip sound, and then there's a little trackball. Oh, it was heaven. Heaven on earth. What a time.
Also, not so heaven on earth is Miranda's reaction to that guy's collection. I can never remember his name. He's like a main character, kind of.
Is it Jason Holt? Wait, Jason Holt? Is that right?
Jason Holt, I
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
the
so.
purse slips.
Yeah. But I love this scene, how she's just like destroys his whole line with like a little purse slip. And it's like, oh, you really do have the power here. And also, Patricia talked a lot about, the inspiration for Miranda was Donna Karan. She was like, there's a huge archive at Donna Karan of all their looks and styles. And it really has not ever gone out of style. So she really just had to like accessorize it and just like kind of pick the right pieces. But it set like just this perfect workwear, sophisticated look for Miranda.
So good.
Yeah.
And that's stuff from like the 80s and 90s too. And you can't even tell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. And I always find it hilarious though that Miranda is supposed to be like based off of Anna Wintour.
Yeah.
Did you see they updated that?
Yeah, I did hear a little something.
They changed. No, they said that it wasn't
because they don't want to get her wrath. Because the whole thing.
So they made it.
A lot of designers didn't want to help with this movie because they're afraid of Anna Wintour. Like a lot of like even places to shoot. But yeah.
I've heard both of those stories that they're like trying to change it up, be like it's not Anna, but it is. It's like a really bad secret.
Did any of you read the book? Because
I never read the book.
I've always
I read this and Nanny Diaries at the same time. I feel like I was like, okay, so we were yeah. It was that. This is what I thought.
And Bergdorf Blondes, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is definitely based on her. But, no one wants to get sued. So it's just like a wink. Who else is it going to be based on?
Yeah.
Well, they keep saying it's like, who did I hear? It was like, not Women's Wear Daily. It's another, oh God.
Elle?
I wish I would have said. Is it? Like Elle Magazine? It's another editor-in-chief.
Yeah. Oh gosh, because what's her name was really popular at the time. I don't know. She was on Project Runway constantly.
Nina?
Yeah, because wasn't she the editor at the time?
No, that's Marie Claire. Wait, what? Now we're just referencing.
Now
everything.
we're just trying to figure out.
There's a person who works at a magazine somewhere.
Oh God, I'm so mad I haven't saved this, but I'll try to find it. It's they were like like you said, they're backtracking because I'm sure this is one of those things that like your agents would tell you, oh, don't worry, it'll like burn out in a few. And now like Anna Wintour, like children are growing up knowing that this is, Anna Wintour is terrifying.
Yeah. She is. But
I don't know. I've always gotten like nice vibes from her. Maybe it's because I've never worked from her, but she always just looks like kind-hearted to me. But
she looks like a woman who knows how to do her job.
Every time I watch this, I get like, all of us have worked in LA at some point in time. Elizabeth's not here anymore. But like just like that stress of like working in high pressure environments though.
Oh God.
Yes.
This film literally makes like the anxiety like build up inside of me. Just like watching her interactions with her boss, it kills me every time.
Trying to get her the flight, that one stresses me out. But I was going to say, there's that new book about Anna Wintour that just came out recently. And a lot of people were talking about a part where they talk about her lunch, which is like a steak, right? And then remember there's that scene in this movie where
where they throw the steak in the sink and I want to cry every time.
I want to eat that steak.
I would have rinsed it off. I'm not above rinsing it off. I'm sorry, there was glass in that sink and I know it, and I still would have rinsed off a freaking Smith & Wollensky steak at an intern assistant rate, that's lunch.
And
I
you
don't
know
care, fine.
that sink was already clean, so you might not even have to rinse it off, honestly.
Also, to your point, Spencer, this does, and I think that's why I hate Andy's exterior group so much, because if you've ever worked in like the industry, Hollywood, whatever it is, or have a high pressure job, you know that you kind of rely on your friends to either understand or like show you some grace. Like, I don't care if you're commiserating, like, oh yeah, your boss sucks, but you look to them to not add pressure because you're already at the point where you feel like throwing a steak into the sink. So that's problem number. Problem number 2 is, if you've worked in an environment where there's like food and catered stuff, there's no problem she didn't eat that steak. Yes, it sucks that she went through all that trouble, but I'd be like, okay, girl, let me box this up. This will be dinner for 2 nights. Like, okay.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Marie, I saw, so she gets her, Anna Wintour gets her, what is it? It's a steak and caprese salad from somewhere downtown or whatever, like Battery Park, whatever that area is. And then she takes but no salad. Like, she just wants the cheese and tomato?
Keto. She's all keto.
Yeah. Oh, keto. Oh. This is what you get when you have us on. Did you guys see that Rachel McAdams was originally offered the role, and she came in 3 times to read for this, and every single time, like, I think she was, doing what you do as an actor, but for whatever reason, she turned him down. And the usual list, the Natalie Portmans, everyone came through, but like, they really, really wanted Rachel McAdams for this.
For Miranda or Andy?
For Andy.
Oh, okay. I was like, why?
That would be, imagine Rachel McAdams. Let's redo this. Rachel McAdams as Miranda, and then
with the hair.
Yeah,
I was like,
and
panicking.
Natalie Portman as Andy. Go. This is what we're watching now.
I mean, I was
Disney.
I'd watch it.
Yeah, I would.
Rachel McAdams as Andy. I mean, I guess I could see it too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like Natalie Portman would have been fun too, but that would have been like a weirder, like kind of edgier film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So many possibilities.
Wouldn't have been the same. Wouldn't have been the same. What's Stefan?
I think Rachel McAdams has a kinder face, if that makes any difference.
But she plays such a good bitch, though.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, I feel like Rachel McAdams would have been like a good Emily. But I mean, but Emily's Emily though. Like Emily Blunt is amazing. But definitely or Giselle's character, like she could have fit in anywhere in that environment.
But what doesn't fit into this environment is this photo shoot, which makes me laugh and cringe every time I see it.
Yeah.
The concrete jungle photo shoot in the middle of Central Park.
Oh,
where
it's
everyone's
hot.
doing like improv exercises, like "Rawr, I'm a cat."
I think you guys also spoke to Mona May also about Enchanted, but now I always think about like her talking about doing that Enchanted scene in Central Park and how it was like 2,000 degrees and everyone was melting and falling apart. The scene was hot. It was so hot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And the worst part about it is those are all like extras. There is no like shady, cool area for them. So they just have to look like this is a great time.
Yeah, they felt like they were in a jungle. They were actually becoming animals. But Stanley Tucci looks great.
Yeah, he does. He's one of the, he said like when he got into his costume, like that was when things clicked for him and his character, which it's like, that's why costume's important in this movie. Not just because it's all about the clothes, but like it really helped him get into the character, which his character is the only good person in this movie.
Yeah, it just sucks that he didn't, got like screwed over. He's supposed to be a little bit inspired by Andre Leontali, right?
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but definitely like I can imagine Stanley Tucci just like really getting into his character, which I'll say this too, like Stanley Tucci plays this character a lot, it seems like, in a lot of different films. But as soon as he gets into that costume, he becomes like this editor. He does it so well. I love him. I just love Stanley Tucci.
Yeah, he's good. He's good. And you think that, he's tough and he's good. But yeah, it pains me the scene where he gets effed over. It's like one of those things where you can't bounce back. Like I know the movie keeps going and I'm like, This is the end. And then we fade to dark. Once that happens, like that's the end of the movie for me. I start clapping. It's like everything everywhere all at once. I'm just like, oh, it's done now. Okay. We're middle.
Not to get too far off, but we just watched Everything Everywhere All at Once. The episode hasn't come out yet.
Yes.
Greatest movie of like the past year.
So good.
Loved it. So good.
I was late to see it. Marie was like, watch it. And then I watched it and it changed everything. Like, because I don't like crying. And so I felt like everyone was like, oh, I cried when I watched it. But, it was like a Stranger Things cry. It was good. It was so worth it.
Yeah.
I cried too I cried during the hot dog fingers scene when they were breaking up.
Oh, that was beautiful. But it was beautiful. It was lovely and beautiful.
She wipes her tears with her foot and I start laughing again. I was just like, this is incredible. I saw it late too. We saw it last weekend. I had to drive like 40 minutes away to find like a theater that was still playing
now, right? Like we can rent it, I think.
Yeah, you could rent it 2 days after I saw it, which was really
to be
awesome.
fair, it's so good on screen though. So you made the right choice.
Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
Okay, so this next character, which I thought everyone would be excited to talk about, turns out I was wrong.
Yeah.
Christian Thompson.
I hate him.
He's terrible. I just thought everyone would be like, oh my gosh, she's so attractive, but I guess I was really wrong.
Spencer, you don't know me at all yet.
Vom.com.
No, thank you. I would definitely pick Adrian Grenier over him.
Yeah.
I pick Stanley Tucci. I don't know that we would just be living together in domestic bliss because no.
Christian is a terrible, I just hate him. Every scene he's in, I want to die. And it was just miserable. That's like every character that's not Andy and Miranda and Emily in this film. You're like, I just don't like this person.
I wonder if he's like inspired by a certain writer from back then,
Oh, I'm sure. Like the photojournalist dude that like goes after all the ladies. I'm sure. The only redeeming quality of fact about this is that in the scene with the James Holt party, that's Anne Hathaway's favorite look. So that's the only thing that I got out of watching this was that I kept waiting for it. She said she likes her mini skirt and her slouch boots and the Chanel coat. So that was the nicest part of this scene. Every part where he pops up, he's slimy. I don't like this character at all. And I feel like he's the opposite of Stanley Tucci. I feel like Stanley Tucci's character starts off tough, but is such a sweet softie on the inside and is really just trying to make it through this this situation where everyone's being abused. This guy tries to come off as like Mr. Nice Guy and does help out, like the Harry Potter thing was cool,
Harry Potter book.
But in the end is just a scuzzball.
And I hate his scarves. They're so stupid.
Let's take his face off the screen. Thank you. We can keep talking about him. I just don't want to see him anymore. The scarves are a bit much for me too.
Yeah.
On him.
No, those scarves were never good. And I don't get why people keep trying to bring them back.
It's like a douchebag scarf.
Yes,
yeah, it is.
It is.
It is. That's the perfect way to describe that. Like, I've traveled and you haven't.
Yeah.
But I'm not really. It's just a basic version of a dude's infinity scarf.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that is.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh. I'm going to go throw away all my scarves now.
You do not wear your scarves like that cheese ball. I don't.
No, not
like
anymore.
That's not. You're not doing the like.
No.
Like it's thin, but it's way too long as well.
Yeah, it looks. I feel like everybody else would have had a purposeful, like almost like meditation scarf, if that makes sense. If that evokes like an image. His is like, oh, I got this at the bazaar when I was stationed and doing a journalist thing. I hate him. I don't like him at all. He's like, oh, Solomon Rushdie gave me this scarf when I published his book. Like, it has a story and it's irritating, and he's just a bad New Yorker, and I don't like that person. I feel like as much as we talk shit about like Andy's friends, he's the worst person in this whole movie. Worse than Miranda, worse than everybody.
Than the boyfriend.
Yes, he's the worst person he's the villain.
Yeah.
Yes.
Noted, Marie does not like him. We'll never bring it up again. I don't know where it was coming from. I'm sorry.
Oh my God.
Anyways.
Where are we?
So they're getting ready to, we're kind of going out of order maybe in some ways, but, Andy is really starting to pick up steam at work. And Emily, like we all know, just feel like we always have to work ourselves into the ground, comes to work sick, and things just start falling apart.
That made me nervous in this day and age.
In this climate.
Yeah.
If we saw Emily walking like this today, I would clear the building or
I would run.
But it's so weird because I do feel like working in New York, I've known people that have gone and had like surgery and come back to work.
Oh my!
Like it's just an unhealthy. God, no. It's something that we would never do on this coast, but that's like an absolutely normal. It was an absolutely normal thing. It's just so sad. I like this look for Andy, even though it's not. I don't like the way that it sits because I'm not that fashiony. But it's a callback to. So she has like polka dots twice in this, like these like chocolate. Pretty woman, brown polka dot. She has a scarf that matches this kind of look with a coat. I'm going to put it in the chat. I love it so much. It makes me so happy to see like Andy finding her looks for costume design. Emily Blunt's sick look. I get the bracelets probably didn't hold up for the style change, but those buttons, the way that they catch the light. Ooh, sorry. I'll do that again. The buttons, the way that they catch the light, the way that like she's in all black, but it's so chic. It's like cinched and high neck. It's just she looks amazing and it goes with her nails, so it makes me happy.
If there was one thing I could like steal from this movie, it would be this look right here.
Really?
Yeah, because I'm like the whole movie, brilliant, gorgeous, love it. It's very 2000s still.
Oh yeah,
like it's this
2010s for sure.
Yeah. Like it is dated, but this look is not. You can take that look and put it anywhere. Yeah. And it's going to look current.
I feel like it's a pretty equal, like there's half of the looks where you're like, oof, that is 2008, 2009 staring at me. And then the other half is like very classic, timeless.
Yeah. That's in this picture. I do feel like Anne Hathaway looks great, but it's like, oh, yeah, that's 2000.
Get that shirt, get that blouse out of my face. I hated that one. It was like, and there's just too many big belts,
It's the shirt. I think it's the styling it's the styling's 2000s.
Yeah, I think that was like a thing, like crunchy boxy. Like it's like you can look at that and know it's uncomfortable. Like it doesn't feel good against your skin. It's like, that top is wearing her. She's not wearing that top, but that's, editorial fashion. That's the scarf that brings back. It's like clearly Andy pulled through things. And if you notice, some of the gloves are definitely back to like her original cerulean Andy, where it's like those gloves are probably very expensive, but they look like grandma knit.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're, I'm sure they're expensive, but I just enjoyed seeing that. Clearly some things Andy actually enjoyed and pulled them through. It made me happy.
We haven't even talked about that one scene where Anne Hathaway. See, now I'm messing them up. When Andy goes to Miranda's house and she has to deliver the book, and of course she messes it up. Mm-hmm. She's like sneaking through the house, which I don't know why she would think this is a good idea.
Yeah, hello.
But the second time she goes to Miranda's house, she really pulls it out. I mean, she pulls out this look that is just like chef's kiss. It's so good.
Is that the Miu Miu top? Is it this one with the Chanel?
Yeah.
I think it's like a Prada or Miu Miu.
Whatever it is, it's perfect.
Yeah. Also, those twins, secondary evil. Like those twins are the other villains in this movie.
The shining twins she randomly had upstairs.
That's right.
That's the difference between Andy. Like, if I'm going to get fired, I'm going to get fired for cussing somebody out. And it's going to be those twins. Like, look here, you little spoiled ass. Like, don't mess with people's money.
Unpublished manuscript for the next Harry Potter.
Bound.
Unbelievable.
bound for these little, like, no, it's okay. You can come upstairs. Like, I get it. But also they're going to learn something in like how the working class needs these jobs. And you're not about to like get me fired. Because I don't know. I have a soft spot for Andy. I don't like the character. I don't like Anne Hathaway's character so much. I like the movie a lot. But like, to your point, like, she just doesn't show up. Like, it just, like, girl, she said, put the book down and go. And she's like, this door, let me come upstairs. I'm like, you have to be smart. You're smart. That's the movie starts with you being so smart. You have to.
There was
can't do
like
this.
a little table. I would have just sat it down and just promptly left.
Walked out. I wouldn't care. I would said I rang your door. It didn't work. The key was broken. There was a fire on whatever, 53rd. I couldn't get whatever it is. I'll throw it down. The kids did it. The little badass kids did it. I didn't do it.
Yeah, just like this one in front of the door, I'm putting the, dry cleaning in. It's going there. I'm not worrying about it, and walked out.
She hates you anyways. It's not going to make anything better.
But now you're walking up the stairs and oh God, it's just so cringy.
Emily says, "Why don't you just crawl into bed with them?" I was like, "It's a point.
That was it.
It's a point."
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was actually where it was at.
Emily's terrible, but sometimes she says things, and you're like, she does have a point.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for necklaces and layering and jewelry. I've always like worn stacked rings and like jewelry. My life's mission, I need everyone to understand the sidekick era of never being able to find these things. I have looked for this. It's not a necklace. It's 2 necklaces. And it just doesn't exist. And every fraudulent, I'm trying to think of like, what's another one? Like a Balenciaga leather moto jacket, like those like knockoff things that are like universally knocked off. This necklace is one of them. The one specifically, the one with all of the Paris souvenirs.
The charms.
So she has on 2 Chanel necklaces. She has one that has all of the Paris souvenirs. It's called like Chanel's souvenir collection or whatever. And this is the one for Paris. Then she has like a regular, and I'm using air quotes, pearl strand from Chanel that's a little more accessible. Like you can find it, except for the fact that these pearls change in size. Both are ridiculously expensive and I cannot find. I've seen people that have the souvenir charm necklace and it doesn't exist. But the close-ups of each one of those charms, Juicy at the time used to make charm bracelets, and I was obsessed with them because the charms were expensive as hell, and they were so well done. Like they each had like a little secret. So like if it was like a little apple for New York, you would like open it and there'd be like a golden worm inside or something like really cute. And that's how these charms are. Like she has like a little Eiffel Tower and it like has little like diamonds, crystals, like glittering lights, and like the bus is like pink with like rhinestones on it. Like it's so freaking cute, unfindable. It's thousands of dollars if you can find a vintage version.
That is wild.
We're putting a hit out. We need it.
This was one of those things that like even then I was like, this is gorgeous and something I need in my life.
Yeah. I want it for you now.
Thank you.
Like this is going to be a group effort to get one.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, you found that book for me, so we can do this.
Yeah. That was cool. Elizabeth really wanted Aiko Ishioka's like Dracula book. And
yes.
And I found it. Well, when I say found it, I mean I got it through Amazon, but it wasn't like $5.
Yeah, it's hard to find. Yeah, that's right. I remember we looked that up. Oof.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. Well, next up, we're all on team. This is our other podcast. This is our like hunt.
Yeah.
We have a hunting podcast.
Yes.
And it's called like Hunt for the Costume Jewelry, or the real version of the unaffordable Chanel $2,500 necklace. Oh God, it hurts me.
I love that podcast.
It'll be great. Coming in fall.
So it's time for a little benefit. Emily's still showing up to the benefit. She does look good, but she's still sick, clearly.
Spreading that virus. Just spreading it.
This is now a super spreader.
Couldn't happen to a nicer group of people, so go ahead. I'm not mad at it. Cough on them. Cough on them. Cough on the hors d'oeuvres. Go for it, Emily. Go for it.
But they all look so good, especially Miranda. I love the silhouette on her. She looks good.
Yep.
I think this is also the first time we get like a little sexy, busty Miranda.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I also love
Jacqueline.
Oh, Jacqueline.
Yeah, Jacqueline Follet. She looks good too. We don't have a picture of her, but I remember seeing her for the first time. I was like, who is that?
It's funny because Anne Hathaway's character, I feel like the note would be from them, like, you don't have to dress that, because she looks dressed up and she's really shining here. And when you look at like the scene as she's leaving, like talking to like whatever stupid the boy is, the guy, whatever. Her look literally looks like she's like walking the red carpet at like Cannes, like the film festival. Like she looks so good. Like Andy looks so good. I feel like, I know we made a lot to like get her into work looking good, but this to me is the one where everyone should have been like Cinderella.
Yeah.
Like who is that?
Yes.
She's gorgeous. Like she looks so amazing and it's done so well. And you know, nobody else has a flower in their hair like that. And she looks so good.
It's almost so brilliant to where I feel like if I were a writer, like Miranda would almost probably be annoyed by Andy's look, because it might be like almost upstaging her a little bit, honestly.
Like they would tell her to like tone it down next time. Like you don't have to go so cute.
Yeah.
You could be mildly cute.
Like
I think that
I've created a monster. You know?
Yeah. I think the bust line though, like if she had more cleavage, then I think it would have veered towards that. But Miranda's just, it really is that neckline that makes her stand out. So she's fine for now.
Yeah. And Emily's just trying to make it through.
Yeah.
She's just trying to make it.
Poor Emily.
Poor Emily. But good, she keeps with the like rock and roll wristwear. Like even with this, it's a little, you know, it's a thing. Like I feel like, I don't know, Emily might go on to like work at Rolling Stone editorial, like do the covers. She's really edgy. I like Emily.
Yeah, I never really thought of her like that too. She's like really edgy. That's a good
comparatively.
Well, because she wore Rick Owens and Vivienne Westwood. Which a lot of stuff that she wore. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Her makeup's heavier, but in a very deliberate way. You know, she's just, I like her. She's a little dark rock and roll.
Absolutely. But moving on to Paris.
Yes, Paris.
Which I always think these scenes have a lot more fashion in them than they actually do.
Right. Well, yeah.
Where I'm like, this outfit of hers when she throws everything away is like the big fashion moment of that whole trip, I feel like. One
note that I had was I actually like how she looks in Paris, even though they seem like understated. I mean, she wears a lot of black, right? And it's hard for us to really like see all the details. But I think it's also just everything, her like makeup, her hair. She just looks so put together in all the Paris looks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, also I feel like she was really just humbled too by going to Paris and like taking Emily's spot. I think that's when it got really real for Andy, where suddenly she was like in Paris and she was like, she didn't know what to do. And she kind of like, you know, she's still dressed up, but she's kind of like uncomfortable now with this whole costume scenario that she's created for herself.
Yeah, because we've known from the very beginning of the movie that this is not for her. She's not going to Paris. It's for the number one assistant to go. So like, don't even worry your little head.
Yeah.
Because I'll be in Paris. This is what my whole life, the sickness, everything. It's all about Paris. So don't worry. So I think it's a lot of costume. I think she like looked up, I don't know, some French film and was like, I'll just take these outfits from the big closet in the back and try to like pull it together.
She looked up Roman Holiday and was like, okay, what do I need to wear?
I wish. I also think less, like there's some part of it, and I get this is fantasy, but her grooming, that's what like these, like her hair with the bump, like Andy would have been spending a F ton of time like getting ready in the morning to like look like this. This isn't just like putting on the dress, which I don't think they really cared about for this movie since it's definitely about the clothes. But her whole way of like styling her bangs and pulling her hair back and like how she does things, it's so grown. And I think that's why she also looks like a whole different person. It literally looks like when movies do those like pickup shoots like months later.
Mm-hmm.
That's how different she looks in these Paris scenes. She looks totally different.
Absolutely.
And the red lip. That's a bold choice.
I need to know what that lipstick is.
It's a good one.
We're going to make it up Chanel.
Wait, I just noticed her little gold handbag too. It's so cute and lovely.
Yeah.
There's also another little when she's walking with the creepy dude in Paris.
Yes.
She's like holding this small, like a tiny black box bag. And I love that bag. It's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. She has a lot of really cute little clutches and smaller bags in this movie that go easily unnoticed, but they're all really interesting and adorable.
Yeah, the bags in this movie they're very good. They don't get the shine that they deserve, but that's a little velvet mustard bag. That's a statement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cute. Or green, I can't tell.
Chartreuse.
I might be colorblind. I was one of those people that thought chartreuse was like fuchsia until this year, so don't listen to me.
Yeah, you're kind of actually rocking my definition of chartreuse right now. I feel like while we're talking, I'm going to be Googling on the side. So,
well, we have come to the end of the film where Andy is not at the magazine anymore, but she's looking equally as good. Patricia Field said to Entertainment Weekly, she went in one girl, she came out another girl. Rather than a compromise, I would call it a combination because she knew that she couldn't go for another job that has nothing to do with fashion, looking like she just stepped off the pages of the fashion magazine. I don't think that the people would necessarily get it. So I believe she thought about it and said, okay, I'm not going in my cerulean blue sweater, but I want to get myself together a little bit here. Which it's that's the whole lesson Andy learned is that hey, it matters how you present yourself, but you don't have to be crazy about it.
Yeah, it shouldn't hurt. I also think that this look is the one that people took off and everyone did a version of this. This was a thing. This was a successful, working, cool person. And if you are at that level, you can wear this to work and still go out and not feel like a lunatic in a costume after work. You still would be very cute with your friends.
Yeah, this is realistic and attainable.
Yeah. And very Andy. I like the leather jacket. I like the smart little messenger bag. The boots are cute with the little not too tight jean. It's gorgeous.
The color scheme just works with her so perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I have issues with it.
Oh.
Sorry. I do.
Whoa.
I feel like something's off, and I think it might be the length of the height of the boot. There's something a little off of it for me.
I will say...
Maybe just be brown and black together. I don't know.
To me, when Blair just said the
looseness
tightness of the pants. Yeah, I think the looseness of the jeans go into the looseness of the boots. So I feel like I don't like that shape there.
That might be what is triggering me.
Well, so one needs to either the boots need to not slouch and come up tighter, or the jeans need to be more fitted and tapered into a slouchy boot. So the tapered jeans, the jeans were tighter, so the boots could get their slouch on. Yeah. I can see what you both are saying.
It's like that 6 inches that makes a difference right there.
I get it.
The waist
I
up
thoroughly
is
agree.
flawless.
I also don't like where the boots slouch.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd appreciate a leg warmer slouch, which means the top part of the boot needs to scrunch down, and then it can go into this. These boots are slouching below, at an ankle level, and then as they go up, they're less slouchy, which I can see it looks a little Shrekky. It looks a little Shrekky. It does. I get it. It does. It looks very Robin Hood and his merry men. I get it. I can see it.
No.
Thank you. That's what something was going off on me.
This is one of those moments where now every time I watch this film, I'm going to see this look and I'm going to think back to this moment. I've never noticed this on this look, and now I'm never going to unsee it.
Sorry, it's my eye.
It might be better with motion. It also could be one of those things I don't know. I know, Patricia. If they did it for a reason. It might have been called the sock boot look, where they wanted it to be.
This was 2008. That's really where it was. I think if it was in modern times, it would have been different. It would have definitely been cleaner.
I'm pretty sure I had boots that looked exactly like that in middle school. So It was a time and place.
I probably had him in 2008. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, we were coming off of the UGG trend of the earlier 2000s, so everybody liked like a jean into boot. Yeah. Thank you, Jessica Simpson, for giving us all of that.
I'm sorry. I feel like really random. I feel like there was a really hilarious Jessica Simpson shoe joke in Hacks season 2.
There was.
Killed me. Anyway,
I don't remember what it was, but
the Lost and Found scene. I died. I was like, that is so on point. And only a small amount of people would understand that.
Yep.
Elizabeth
That's the early 2000s of it all. That's early 2000s fashion that everybody gets that. Yes. It's the multicolored Louis Vuitton and a UGG boot. We've been there, guys. We've seen it.
Elizabeth and I put Hacks onto our season calendar. I love that show. So
yes, it's so good.
This last season too has a lot of grand looks.
The cruise episode?
Yeah.
Oh man. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah. Even I like the bathing suit choices. Yeah. Like Hannah's character, like her little chi-chi, whatever they were calling a bathing suit. Like, good for her. It was cute. She had some shorts and a little haltery bathing suit.
Well, The Devil Wears Prada ends with one of my favorite scenes when she sees Miranda from a distance. And Miranda gets in a car and she gives the tiniest little smirk, and then she just yells at her driver. She's like, "Go!" And so good.
So much acting in that smirk.
Right. You only see Miranda almost smile twice. The first time was when she sees Andy walk in dressed up for the first time. And it's almost like Meryl almost smiles. So I appreciate those 2 smiles. All 2 of them.
Yeah, that's it. That was the only time the corners of her mouth turn up in an actual smile. But it also the first smile is more, I think, of she can see she's done a good job. Not Andy.
Oh,
Miranda.
Really?
They've broken her and she's like, I'm proud of my work. Look at my work over there.
And I would almost say that's the second one too, because she knows Andy has this interview. And when Andy walks out, sees her and is like, hey, she's like, oh, I just got her that job. Gets in her car.
I never thought of it like that, and I don't want to.
She's a mom. She actually invited her over after, and they had tea, and she was like, okay, now that you're gone, we're best friends.
Thank you.
There's your end.
Yeah, that's what I want to think.
I do think it's funny. It's a comment, the abuse of assistants and interns at this time, it was a thing to do. You took a horrible job with a horrible person that was at the top of their game, which still happens a lot, unfortunately, and they treat you like crap. And then they say, you've done a year with me. You can go anywhere you want. Where do you like to go? And you're always surprised at how gracious those people are when they give you, the opportunity to work wherever you want. They send you a nice letter, or they give you a good introduction, which it sucks because the real cycle is they know nobody would last more than a year under that kind of abuse, and they probably would get sued. So it sucks, but this was really a big thing at this time. People were taking jobs at studios and, just in different areas. Even tech was like that. We'll work you 24 hours till you are actually passing out at work. And then after you've completed your first year of hazing, we'll make sure you get a job where you really want to be. Which, this says a lot for this little era.
What a great way to end this. No, it's really unfortunate. Yeah, definitely like you said, gives me that anxiety the entire time. We've all had a job like this. We're just every single day you're I don't want to go to work. And Andy really pushes through. And honestly, I would not have lasted as long as Andy did,
I was cussing twins out. They would have been get her out of the building. Not only would I not have lasted, they would have been take her pass and get her out of the building.
The steak was the breaking point for me. That was...
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the steak. Damn. It was all bad. And, there are some cute things that they didn't really lean into. When you work at Condé or wherever, you have that cafeteria and you get all those cute things. Not you would have any time to be there, but they have all those things there. It's she could have, I don't know, poor Andy.
Yeah.
Poor Andy. But you look great.
Yeah.
and the nice thing, so I know we ended on Meryl. I will say, I really appreciated the call to Emily at the end
Mm-hmm.
and offering to give her all the clothes.
Yeah.
That is, we know how much those clothes are, and we know in a realistic world she probably would have like depopped them or whatever and like got some money. But she knew that meant more. Emily's character actually appreciates the clothes and the status of wearing those Paris, future fashion, whatever collection for the year ahead. So I thought that was just the nicest thing. And just that was as nice as Emily was going to be able to be. And you saw her kind of like well up. But I just thought that was like a classy move for her to be like, I know this situation sucks, but I'm definitely I'm not trying to run with it. I'm out of it. I'm out of the cycle. So you can have all of the extremely expensive Paris gifts and clothes.
That was big of her.
Yeah.
No one else would do that in real life.
Nobody. I would have kept the bags. I keep everything. I'm like, I want the tissue paper. I want the bags. It was sweet.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's really nice. I love seeing like Emily like kind of smile a little bit, and she says like, "You have big shoes to fill."
Yeah. That's a good one.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. The film should have ended right after Stanley Tucci's little end.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it. It was a horror film. Then we realized that like he just goes crazy and like, that was horrible. It was unforgivable.
Yeah.
Like to ruin. And I do think now that I've never thought about that as Andre Leon Talley. And now looking at that, it's true because we know for a good section of time, he was the not as respected, extremely influential person behind a lot of our favorite models, behind a lot of our favorite looks, behind a lot of our favorite publications. And he just wasn't respected or credited. He was loved and appreciated. So he didn't get that in print, but he got that with like his relationships. And it was only later as he got older that people then started to give him the credit that he deserves. So I do feel like there's a lot of those notes within the relationship with Stanley Tucci's character. Which sucks because he, like, if you look back, he's been there. He was like ageless. Like he was there from the very beginning of fashion forever.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But I don't know about you all, but we have a little game we like to play.
You two like games.
I love it. Is it called Stanley Tucci's Glasses? What is it?
No, but maybe we should do that instead.
Oh my gosh. Like a matching game where we just have a bunch of glasses and stuff.
Yeah, or we just pull up a picture of Stanley Tucci in glasses and you just say, "Where's this from?"
There we go. I think this is a third podcast that the one costume to rule them all.
Amazing. I get that. That's a Lord of the Rings reference. I get that.
Yeah, because we're Lord of the Rings nerds.
We are.
And you know me. I'm the opposite. I'm always a fan of the bad person. I'm a smog person. Like I don't
that's
like.
Fine.
Okay, good. I'm on team whatever the hobbits are on. I'm on the opposite. I'm on the Smeagol side.
Smeagol?
Yes, I really think that justice for Smeagol. I think that character was wrong. I think everybody made it. They gaslit a poor little baby in a cage. I do. I think he was gaslit. I think Smaug was gaslit. You cannot.
The dragon was gaslit.
Yes. You cannot just come back 200 years later and be like, now because our area's messed up, we want our old shit. No, fire them up, melt that gold, melt them all. Same thing with Smeagol. Like, leave him alone. You just should have moved on.
Yeah, I agree with Smeagol. I agree.
Sad. Like, leave. You're the wrong one. He was in the throes of addiction and whatever was going on there, and you messed with him. And now you're losing fingers, and your friends are dying. And guess what? You started it, not him. This is why the dragon, it's sad. These movies are heartbreaking too. These are my sad films. I'm just telling you this. I cry. These are my sad. This is why I can't do it. I'm like, this justice for, what you guys consider a villain, I consider the hero. I'm just saying, #Ring2. I don't know what the hashtag would be, but I want justice for them.
That was probably the funniest 2 minutes of my life. Duly noted. We will have to do a podcast with you.
Thank you.
All right. So how we play this, we each take turns picking our one costume to rule them all from the film. Elizabeth and I will go first and then give you guys the closing moment.
Ooh.
My one costume to rule them all was actually Miranda's first costume when we see her come up the stairs. Well, not stairs, elevator, sits down at her desk, that purple look. It's just so good. It's not that there's anything too special to it compared to like all of her other costumes, but just like that iconic vibe this costume gives off when she sits down with the glasses, like a little bit in her mouth. Just like, it's just everything. The energy that this costume gives off cannot be replicated for me.
No, I agree. That is a good one. It tells you everything you need to know about her in like the 30 seconds she's making her way up to her office.
Elizabeth, what is your one costume to rule them all?
My one costume to rule them all is Andy's final look, because it's very trendy, but it's also very her, which it's like at the beginning she was comfy. She was her, like she was just wearing what she wanted. She was being herself, but zero appreciation or understanding of what fashion actually was in her day-to-day life. Then she goes through these months and months of like trying to be someone she absolutely is not, but she gains understanding and respect for the fashion industry. It's not just, it was a joke to her at first. It's not a joke to her anymore. She understands that, you know, this is the lives of thousands of people that work and run this industry and their livelihoods depend on it. And this is like, she lands in like the middle. She looks good and appreciates what she puts on herself every day now.
It's a good point. It's also a controversial choice after our discussion over it, but I respect it. I like your reasoning behind it. It made sense.
Replace the jeans and like a different pair of brown boots and it's perfect.
Blaire, you are next. What is your one costume to rule them all?
To Elizabeth's point earlier with her Patricia Field quote, it's the collaboration of Andy in the button-down white shirt with the black sweater over it and those Chanel double-strand necklaces that I can't find, and her little like Chanel tweed cap. We're seeing it all together. The kind of, we talked about the coat that was kind of, you know, the resort cruise look. I personally feel like it looks like a private school on the Upper West or Upper East Side look. Love the prep. She has the cap. I would do it without the cap, but this look felt like a collaboration, and it felt, I like a little gaudiness. I like, you know, I know the Coco Chanel thing is like take one thing off. I'm more like a put one more thing on. And this felt like that, but it felt like unmesswithable. Like people could not mess with this look because she was owning it and rocking it and stomping through, you know, to deliver what she needed to, with the double strand of two different Chanel necklaces and then the layering, which I enjoy.
Yeah, no, this is definitely one. Chanel was like, we want to be thought of as youthful. This was youthful where they got that.
Yeah. This is it's a power look. She looks strong. She looks strong and comfortable and realistic to Andy. I think some of the other ones were definitely like Andy playing a role, as we talked about, like costumey. This one felt like she could actually wear this with her friends. Maybe take the jewelry off if you're going to like be in the streets because you don't want to like mess up the jewelry. But this would have been an Andy look. It's
a masterpiece, honestly. If I were to pick a favorite Andy look, I would agree with you, Blaire.
That's a good one.
And Marie, finally, what is your one costume to rule them all?
So I don't think we talked about this one earlier, but it is, I can't tell if this is a two-piece or a dress, but it is the black long sleeve with the white collar and white cuffs look that Andy wears.
Yes.
Yeah. It's so if it's a dress, it's like a drop waist with a pleated skirt. I can't figure out if it's separate, but
I feel like it's all in one.
I think so
because
too.
When you look at the collar, it doesn't, the collar like starts where the little, like, I don't know what those things are, like rivets or whatever.
Well, even better if it is a dress, since, you know, this is like a look that I have worn over the years. I feel like it is so timeless from like, you know, 1970s to 2022. You can wear, this is not a Peter Pan collar, but, you know, any kind of contrasting Wednesday Addams, white collar over black, like that, you know, from goths to preps to fashion girls. I feel like it's just a really good look. And you can't go wrong. And you know, Blaire, I'm sure you love that because she's wearing the long, this one's a very more simple, long Chanel beaded necklace, but it just really tops off the entire look. So yeah, this is
the classier. Like I said, mine had too much on. That Chanel necklace is just oof, rich.
Yeah.
It's like what's the girl in Gossip Girl? Blaire. That girl.
Yeah.
This is like
Blaire
that
Waldorf.
rich New York. Yeah, old money. Good. This is a look. I love that you said Wednesday Addams. That made me now I love this outfit more. The fact that you could pull the through line to win, that made me happy.
I wonder if it's Chanel. I couldn't get info on this particular look, but I don't know if it's Chanel or Prada. But it's good.
We'll have to dive back in, but it's definitely a good one to end on. These are all amazing looks, and this has been such a fun episode. I loved having you guys on so much. This was so fun.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
this was amazing. Actually, when you guys had me on your podcast, Blaire asked me, you know, what episode of our podcast would you recommend to listen to? I would love to give you guys that same opportunity. I love Fishnet Flix. It's such an amazing podcast. If people were to start listening to Fishnet Flix, what are some episodes you would recommend?
Ooh.
We were not prepared for this. Let's think.
Well, neither was I, so I'm throwing it back.
You know, so whenever we have a costume designer on, it makes my life because one, I get to get all of my questions answered. And then two, it's just hearing the lengths that they go through to make something look effortless. And then the special touches that we don't necessarily know. I think Whitney and Adams was like a wonderful one for me.
Whitney's amazing.
Just delightful. It made me so happy. I got all my questions answered.
I really loved Cynthia when she came on, because that was like a 2-part episode. You know, she did Scream and Buffy the series, so that was really good. And also when Tavi Gevinson came on and did Uptown Girls with us, because Uptown Girls, I feel like it's one of those that is a little underappreciated when it comes to costumes, but there's so many good looks. And, you know, Brittany Murphy.
Right.
So, yeah.
Of course.
I would also like to add one more. Mars Attacks with You.
Oh, yeah. Hello.
I feel like people need to listen to that one. That was again, a good one.
That one was another one where we talked about how those costumes are amazing.
Oh, yeah. It's definitely underappreciated beauty.
Yeah.
And the texture of it. I think that's the looks and the way that Mars Attacks was put together, because it is retro futuristic. It has a lot of fun moments that you're more focused on the fact that the dog has a human head and it might be somebody that I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but there are also so many nuanced fashion moments and color blocking and cool things. So I love Mars Attacks. I don't think we've done another movie like that since it was Earth Girls Are Easy was the first one. And then we just hit it with Mars Attacks. So that's also a great episode.
Right. Well, if you need any more weird ones, Elizabeth and I are ready to go. So
I can't wait.
Yes, we have to have you both on.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you all listening. This was such a fun episode, but Elizabeth, what are we watching next week?
Spencer, we are watching the stunning, the colorful Marie Antoinette with Kirsten Dunst.
The film that every single person on this planet has told me to see, and I've still never seen it. I think I'm the only person. So
yeah, you are.
Blaire and Marie are making faces.
I mean, I know I make jokes about my Twilight, but my God, even I've seen this one. This is a good one.
Yeah. If you want a costume film, here's a costume film.
When I saw the last slide that said Marie Antoinette and I knew Blaire and Marie were going to be here, I was like, oh, shit.
Oh.
You should have lied. You should have been love it. Seen it twice this week. It was great. Just moving on. No, it's good. It's also, what a treat.
Yeah.
You get to watch it now. You're with adult eyes. You get to see all the influences. If you would have seen it earlier, you wouldn't have seen how it influenced culture. Now you get to look at it from an educated perspective. So good for you.
And also, fun fact about Marie Antoinette, it came out the same year as The Devil Wears Prada. And
no way.
Yeah.
The Devil Wears Prada
right.
lost the Oscar to Marie Antoinette.
I did not know that. Oh, behind the wardrobe facts a week early.
Yeah.
But thank you all so much for listening. If you want to comment on all of our choices, discussions today, any slime balls or bad friend relationships or toxic workplaces, leave us a voicemail at 626-515-1826. Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod, TikTok, The Art of Costume. Follow our Patreon, head to our merch store, all that good stuff. And don't forget to listen to Fishnet Flix. Blaire, Marie, I love you so much. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you.
Love you. Thank you.
The Art of Costume Blogcast is hosted and produced by Elizabeth Joy Glass and Spencer Williams. Our audio engineering and editing is done by Dan White. Follow us on Instagram at The Art of Costume Pod or visit theartofcostumeblogcast.com for all blogcast updates. If you want to support the show, go to theartofcostume.com/podstore. Or you can head over to patreon.com/theartofcostume for some bonus content. For more costume reviews, deep dives, and interviews, head over to theartofcostume.com, a blog dedicated to highlighting the best in costume design.
Oh, that's sassy. It says got it. That's sassy.
I got it.
I know. That wasn't like I approve. Like I consent. I accept. It was like got it.